So I wanted to take a little bit to go over what I'm going to be using this season in terms of basic PvE activities. I wanted to create a build that is not dependent on any one exotic, so that I could use this on all of my characters as I progress through the story and the various missions to unlock the different stasis abilities. I also wanted this to be applicable to Nightfall activities, so that I could take it into the various Nightfalls throughout the weeks and be very comfortable with it. There's a couple drawbacks, but it seems to have worked really well so far with this week's Nightfall. Of course, there's going to be different champions in each Nightfall. They're going to be specific modifiers. The biggest drawback that I can see right now is that I'm running 2 solar weapons, so obviously that will have to change, but for now this works. So let's look at the guns first. First of all, I'm very glad that I kept this. This has been sitting in my vault for a long time, and I've been waiting for a use for it. So I was able to pull it out today and finally masterwork it and bring its power level up so that I can use it this season. So, friendly reminder to keep all this stuff you get. Swashbuckler, Slide Shot. Basic damage boosting perk, not my favorite, but pretty good. Slide Shot I really like on 450s because it automatically reloads the magazine when you slide, because these things have quite a slow reload. Not a huge factor of the gun, but the main part is that it puts out damage. It shoots. Handling Masterwork, it's kind of whatever. Main idea is that it's an auto rifle, meaning it combos with the Overload Rounds perk from this season's artifact. Second part, MARTYR'S Retribution. It's not a perfect roll, it's not even the roll that I specifically want, but it is what I was able to get my hands on during Season 9 and 10, so I'm okay with it. Elemental Capacitator, well, I'm running Stasis, so this perk is pretty much moot at this point. The main thing is auto-loading holster. The thing I hate in PvE the most is reloading my weapons all the time. It's such a pain. Auto-loading holster will nullify that, and it's a very good on grenade launchers. High-velocity rounds is good because it makes it go far. Quick launch. Anything that makes me pull it out, shoot, and put it away quicker is good. For power weapon, I will be running the Lament, mostly for its barrier-piercing capability in Nightfalls. You know, a helpful factor is that this is probably the second strongest power weapon in the game right now, just behind the new Raid rocket launcher. The fact that it is able to put out so much damage in such a short amount of time really works well with it. On to the armor. I am changing up my build this season. I took off some mobility and put it into recovery, because I find it more useful in PvE, and especially with the mobility nerfs to hunters, you know, increasing their dodge cooldown. I felt that a combination with the Frosties would help. So it does help, especially if I run a lightweight weapon like I like to do in PvE, like the CQC shotgun, stuff like that. That'll give me an invisible boost to mobility on top of, I usually run traction. In fact, I can run traction anyways. I usually run traction in PvP. That's not, it doesn't matter a whole lot. So that will, Frosties help my dodge cooldown to be a little less painful. And it's still pretty bad, but it helps. The high recovery is the main focus though. The high recovery and a standard discipline split is really useful in PvE this season. The main idea of this whole build is Warmind cells. So I have a mobility mod because, you know, mobility. I have the basic ammo finding mods for both my nade launcher and my sword, and then global reach. So this means that if I kill an enemy with this auto rifle, it has a chance to generate a Warmind cell. And of course it's not a chance, it's a, think of it like a bar that fills up. So you kill 10 red bars, it'll spawn a Warmind cell, or 3 yellow bars. Well, those aren't the specific numbers, but you get my point. So this makes it so that the explosion radius of the Warmind cell is larger, and it will damage targets more. The gauntlets. Recovery mod, overload rounds. I'm probably just going to keep this on my gauntlets. I might change it up every once in a while, you know, just for fun, do an unstoppable shotgun build if I'm really bored. I keep fastball on all the time, which will really suck if they deprecate this mod, because it means that I won't be used to my grenade placement. But you'll see later that grenades are also an important factor in this build. Then Power of Rasputin. It says you gain a bonus to weapon damage against enemies that are near Warmind cells. So what I like to do, specifically, is to destroy stuff with my auto rifle in case it spawns a Warmind cell, then wipe the things around the Warmind cell with the damage boost, then destroy the Warmind cell, destroying things at a greater distance. The chest piece. Mobility mod, standard auto rifle stuff, and then protective light. Super basic. Standard scavenger stuff, and then sustained charge. Become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with auto rifles. The auto rifles is the main part because that works really well with my swashbuckler to give me constant charges of light, giving me a damage boost. Finally, the Iron Fellowship cloak, of course, looking snazzy. Pretty basic mods here. This is really only in case there's a ton of unstoppables, so you can pretty much ignore that, just pretend it's a bomber mod. And then Wrath of Rasputin. Solar splash damage final blows have a chance to create a Warmind cell. Solar splash damage, you say? I have a Martyr's Retribution, but when I kill enemies with my Martyrs, it has a chance to spawn a Warmind cell. Finally, looking at the subclass. I am running pretty basic stuff. Gambler's Dodge specifically to get my shurikens back, because those are also an important part of the build. And then a Glacier Grenade over a Duskfield or a Cold Snap. I haven't experimented much with the Duskfield. It might be better than the Glacier Grenade, but I find this one to have more utility in standard use. Aspects. Shatter Dive, not a huge part of it. Winter's Shroud. This is really important. I just got this. Dodging slows nearby targets. Meaning, I can dodge near a powerful enemy, say like a red bar servitor, that won't die in one shot to my shuriken. So I can dodge near him, slow him, hit him with my shuriken, which freezes him, and that's where Whisper of Hedrons comes into play. Gain a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis. Meaning, I can dodge, throw a shuriken, freeze him, and then ignore the frozen enemy for a little while, and either light everything up with my auto rifle, or hit them with my Martyr's Retribution, both of which can create a Warmind cell. Obviously it'll damage boost my sword as well, but that's not as important because this thing hits like an elephant on steroids anyways. The Whisper of Endurance gives me a longer window between the initial slow and my shuriken throw to freeze the enemy. So I will try and get a little bit of that in action here. I'll clear out these enemies first. Really the only thing I don't like about Martyr's Retribution, I think it's a fantastic weapon, but the only thing I don't like about it is that the, see, it created a Warmind cell. The splash pattern feels kind of random sometimes. Let's see if I can create another Warmind cell to demonstrate another aspect. So there's another Warmind cell. I'm not sure if... Yep, that counts as close. See? And now I do increased yellow damage to him. And I am doing my best to slide as much as possible when I'm using my auto rifle to reload it. Alright, so now I'm going to freeze this lad. He is frozen. That gives me a boost in damage. I was hitting 920 there. That gives me a temporary boost in damage to most enemies. Now, another aspect, I am able to dodge near him, which slows him, and then throw a shuriken, which freezes him. giving me the damage boost again. Created another Warmind cell, and wiped the floor. See, even though I botched it there, the endurance aspect gave me enough time to correct my jump, get up there, and throw a shuriken before he became unslowed. I'll probably put some strike gameplay next to try and really hit home the type of build I was trying to do. This will definitely be stronger against somewhat beefier opponents, such as Cabal, and, well, specifically, the idea behind this build was to have a extremely strong Nightfall build for when the champions are Overload and Unstop. This, I feel like, would be a viable build for raid ad clear as well. There are definitely more competitive Warmind cell builds, such as I know there is a build you can do with Xenophage that works really well, but unfortunately I took a large break from the game during Season 10 because I really didn't like the state of the game. Therefore, I missed out on quite a few of the Warmind mods. So this is pretty much the strongest build I'm able to make with what I have right now.